Hey everybody, it's Dustin at Geekmatics, and today I have an iPhone 7 that needs the data recovered. What's going on with the device is we'll show Apple logo for a quick second, and then image will go away and you'll still see backlight, which makes me think it's going immediately into DFU mode. So when I see that or I hear those symptoms, I think NAND, something's going on with the NAND. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to update the phone. Now to go into that a little bit, there's a difference between update and restore, and without going into any of the too complicated details, restore erases the phone, update does not. So, I'm not expecting to see the update go through. I'm just looking to see where it fails at. So, when I restored this when I updated this through UTools, it failed at 20%. So that kind of tells me the NAND. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do in a situation like this is I'm going to check the power rails to the NAND. Okay, that's going to be step one or step two after I do the update. Now I've already kind of done that, but I'm gonna do it again on camera so you guys can see how I'm getting where I'm getting. All right, so here we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open up ZXW, and we're gonna zoom in on the NAND area here. Okay, and we're gonna go kind of look at each voltage. So you have the first line we're gonna look at is PP3VO NAND. Okay, second one is gonna be PP1V8 is also gonna be important. PPOV9 NAND. I believe that's all the power rails we're really going to look into. All right, so let's go ahead and hop over to the microscope. All right, there we go. And you can see I've already been in here to take some of these measurements. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and see if there is a short to ground. So I'm going to, hopefully maybe you'll be able to see my multimeter here. Maybe. Try to work this out a little bit so you can see this ugly looking multimeter. There you go. Alright. So the first thing we're going to check, and remember, we're in diode mode, we're just checking for short, so it doesn't really matter at this point which probe is on ground. So we're going to check, make sure, I'm going to turn the beep on so I can hear it. Alright. Maybe. What is going on over there? Oh, my probes are messing with me. These are not the normal leads I use. See if that fix it? No. It did. Okay, but the beep is off. What? Oh yeah, this multimeter doesn't beep in diode mode. So we're gonna go ahead and switch to this. This one beeps. I like the beep. Perfect. There we go. All right. Good. That's what we expect. That's the ground side. And no short over here. Okay. I believe that's the same line. We're gonna go ahead and check all of these and make sure that they are all good. And yeah, none of these seem short. Alright, so we're going to go ahead. The next step, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and apply power to the board and boot up the phone, or attempt to boot up the phone. Now again guys, remember the phone just kind of sits at Apple logo for a quick second and then goes into DFU mode. So we're going to power on the phone and make sure we have actual power on those lines. So for 3VO NAND, we would expect to see 3.0 volts or something very, very close to that. And with a 1V8, 1.8, and OV9, 0.9. See how that works? Very simple once you start breaking this stuff down. So I've already showed you my iPower Max, so I'm not going to go through that again. Alright, so now we'll change this. We'll go ahead and check those for what we need. Alright, so this is 3VO NAND. Oh, maybe it would help if you could see the multimeter. These things are awful. Come on. No, there's glare. I'm trying to get it out of the glare for you guys. Alright, so you would expect to see 3 volts there, and we do. That's very, very close enough. I believe this is also 3VO NAND, so we should see the same. Yes, it is. The next one is the 1V8 line. Alright, that's present. And now we have point. No, is that fluctuating, or is my probe just being horrible? That does seem like it's fluctuating. Let's try it with another probe.
See if you're on 2 Toshibas. Actually, it even shows me one was. Let me just check. How was it reinstalled?
Sorry guys, I can't see with the camera if that's
one
a
says it
6
was
or
last
if
seen
that's
in
an 8.
January, and then the other one says it was last
I'm
seen
expecting
in
9.
March.
0.09. Or I'm sorry, 0.9. Oh, and it is. It's
But I'm
0.89.
assuming
That's
it's a
kind of what I
more-
was expecting. All right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the
Okay.
next step is, now that
That's
we
fine.
have the
That'd
voltages
be fine. Yeah, we'll
required,
double-check it,
is to
make
go
sure
ahead
everything
and
is looking
take
alright
off the
before you-
NAND and
and then I'll
diode
go back
mode
as well.
underneath, okay, and see if we have any abnormalities on the pads underneath the chip. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started on that process. I do like to use this board heater here. It's a fantastic little device. The only thing I don't like about it is it's so tall. I've got to like sit on a box or some type of stool or something to really make it so I can sit even with my microscope there. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on here. Now the temperature I have this set to, to kind of go over why I'm even using a board heater is because of the underfill that we're going to see on this chip. All right. We're going to want that to remove, and what I found best to remove underfill or an underfilled IC is to have bottom heat applied as well as top heat. Okay, so the bottom heat is going to be, what I use is 100 Celsius when I'm removing the underfill, and I have this calibrated. I use a thermal camera. I'm not going to go into how to calibrate that today, as there's already videos on that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on removing that underfill. And I can take this camera away. You don't need to see me anymore. Alright everybody, so the board seems to be up to temperature now, so we're going to go ahead and grab our Quan Lee 007 blade. That is a fantastic little blade, gets into these small spots into this underfill and overfill that we're about to remove. We're going to come in with top air with a very low heat and low airflow. That way we're not overdoing it with the heat, okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to heat the entire area, okay, and then kind of go into one spot. You know, with this underfill. Once it gets to the right temperature, it just comes right off. You want to be careful not to damage any components next to it. Because if you see here, just to zoom in a little bit, bring you down, there are little components tucked in here. You see them? There's one, there's one. So we want to be careful not to nick any of those, or else we're going to be taking off all that underfill or overfill to get to it. So you see how I kind of have the blade straight up and down, so I'm not knocking any of those components or disturbing any of them. Maybe you can see it. You guys can. Good. That's what I'd like to see. Good camera work. Alright. So you can see this underfill slash overfill, which is kind of mixed together here in this area, is coming right off without any problem with the proper amount of heat. Okay, you don't want to use too much heat. You don't want to start getting little solder balls popping out everywhere. Okay. So there we go, that side is done. You can see I went a little too deep actually with the blade there, but that's okay, that's just scraping the paint off. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do this side next. And you guys just gotta, with the underfill, you're just gonna have to be patient and learn it, and learn how your own methods, because this is a real pain in the butt to deal with, this underfill here. Alright, we're gonna keep it moving. Scraping all this good stuff away. Come on. There we go. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Alright. And can't get over there. I'm going to adjust the board so I don't nick anything and do this the right way. So what we're going to do is to make it more comfortable for me, I'm going to move the board. You guys don't be afraid to stop what you're doing and move it to get you in a more comfortable position so you don't damage anything, okay? It only takes a second to flip that board a certain way. Alright, we're going to do the same thing. We're not going to go in too hot and heavy. Very gentle with our 007 blade, okay? And we're just kind of scraping away. You'll see it's going deeper and deeper. Come on. And again, guys, I'm not going to edit any of this out because just to show you, this is all about patience and being very gentle with it. Junk in there. And you see how I'm going back over the same area multiple times because there's still stuff in there. I want to try to get all of it out if I can. I'm still going back and forth, even though I don't see too much left anymore, simply because I feel resistance when I run my blade through it. So I don't want to feel any resistance as I'm going through it. It should just be kind of like a clean slide. And then that's when you know you got all of the junk out that Apple likes to put in to mess with us as technicians. Come on. Go away. I think that's going to be pretty good. We're going to zoom in on that though, just to make sure there's not any more gunk in there. Oh, that's pretty good. Can you guys see? Somewhat. That looks like I'm gonna call that good to go on the underfill side. All right. Now we're going to do the top part here. It's coming, guys, slowly but surely. I'm gonna flip the board again. Different direction. Sometimes I find if I zoom in a little bit more, I can see the junk that's still remaining. Alright, that looks pretty good. We're going to hit that corner one more time there though. Make sure that we get 100% of this underfill out of here. Flip this out for us. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so the next thing I do is I look for an entry point. Now, on this one, I already have my entry point, which is going to be right here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook in. Okay, maybe I can with this in the way. Let's see if we can get that out of the way. My board heater. So I'm going to squeeze my hook in there, and I'm going to, as I'm applying heat, I'm going to lift up on the IC, okay? And because it's underfilled. Notice I'm still on the board heater, okay? I'm not going to remove it off the board heater until I'm done. And you'll notice I'm heating up the whole NAND area, not just one spot. I'm not just holding it in one spot. I'm heating up that whole, trying to heat up that whole NAND, okay? Get back out of here, heatsink. Get out of there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and try to get our hook in. Yeah, this board heater is just getting it all over the way today. There we go, that's how we work together, board heater. Alright, so you see that it's just barely in, okay? And I'm not putting on flux yet. You see the bubbling of the existing flux though, so it's starting to come, it's starting to get up to that temperature that it needs when I want to start putting pressure on it. Alright, we're gonna start putting a little bit of pressure on the NAND. Not too much, guys, or you're gonna tear pads, okay? Come on, man. Jump right off of here. Alright, I think it's about ready because I see a solder ball coming from the NAND. Let's go. Lift, and we got lift off. Perfect. That is good. And we're going to go ahead and turn off the board heater, okay? And I immediately take it off the board heater when I'm done, and I put it somewhere else. Take the NAND, put it somewhere else. I'm not going to lose it. Alright, now we're going to just wait for everything to cool, guys. And then we're going to start taking some measurements and seeing if we can get data saved off this phone. Alright? Alright, guys, so the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is do a visual inspection underneath the pads here. It looks like I did get a little carried away with my 007 blade trying to fight with my board heater here. You can see I scraped the paint a little bit. Not a big deal. Nobody's perfect, guys. But that's just surface damage. It's not anything that's going to interfere with this working properly or pulling data. Hopefully we can get data out of this board. I'm not terribly hopeful, I'm not going to lie. From everything I've seen so far, everything's checked out. So I'm thinking it's going to be a bad NAND, which means no for data. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bad phone call to make. But so let's go ahead and what I'm going to do next is diode mode the pads. Okay, each individual pad. What I found best to actually streamline this or to make this quicker is just to record myself taking the measurements and then going to ZXW or going to a known good and comparing to that. That way I'm not measurement, look, because that can just take a little bit of time, especially if you run through a lot of measurements. So I'm not going to put that in the video. You guys don't want to see me take measurements. I might throw in a few so you can kind of get the idea, but I'm not going to go ahead and make you watch me take all the measurements of these pads. So you'll probably just skip right to the results. All right? Times. All right, so we have 659, 336, ground, 659, ground, 337. Alright guys, so the results of that was pretty good. All of them matched up to known good ZXW readings. So the next step is really just to reball the NAND and put it back on and pray that it works. I don't think it will, because the device history was it was in the client's hand and then it just shut off on, for what she experienced. It seems like it just shut off on her. So more than likely this is just going to be a bad NAND, which is no bueno on the data. But let's go ahead and give a reball and put the NAND back on, give it a shot. You know, nothing to lose here. So we'll go ahead and get rid of my face. Alright, and we will put some flux on the board and get my iron turned on. I need my iron and flux. What else do I need to do the job? Alright, where is the solder at? Alright, yeah, so we have found the missing solder. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to fluff these pillows, make sure they all look good. And we're going to need more flux. You see how you got those little pin-ups there? We don't want that. We want them all to be fluffy little pillows. So and if you get those, you're just going to have to add some flux here. So we're going to finish the rest of them before we add flux. More flux. Alright, and they're all shiny. Okay, don't you argue with me. There we go. Cool. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and clean up our flux here, and then we'll get to reballing the NAND. And again, I try to keep my flux as clean as possible or off the board, because I really don't like the way it looks. Oh, that guy's got to be, you're going to have to reflux and get that guy down. You see how he's sticking up? We don't want that. We don't want that at all. Alright. That's much better. And we'll go ahead and clean that a little bit off the board. And move to the NAND. Get that thing reballed. We'll go ahead and put this over to the side for right now. Grab the handy dandy NAND. Zoom out a little bit here. Alright. So because the NAND is such a larger IC, what I do is I wick it to get all that other stuff off there, and then instead of just kind of going across it with my iron like I would a smaller IC, grab some tweezers. And the same with the charging port, guys. We do not want to, let's go ahead and first grab this step here, put some solder on this. There we go. Now we will wick. Now we wick. And you guys don't want to. What I would say is do not hold the wick by your tweezers, because what will happen is if you lift up your iron and you're still holding with your tweezers, and you lift on your tweezers, you could very easily tear pads because that wick is probably stuck on your pads, okay? So just be very careful with that when you're wicking. And we'll go ahead and finish the wicking. All right, there we go. Go away. For all you people that are thinking about my fume extractor, I have one at home that I love. The one I need to get one for the office because the one I have here is that blue stand-up thing, and I can't fit it on my desk while I'm working. You're gonna have to get one of those hose or do-it-yourself things for here. We're going to go ahead and clean the mat as well. Beautiful. Got a sucker up. So we can put reballer. Okay, so next step is we're going to get our reballing stencil. So I like the Quan Lee gold stencils. Those are pretty good. I'm going to grab just the 6S because that's what I have near me, and that will work for it. We're going to go ahead and put that on there. And the next thing I'm going to go ahead and grab, get up, make sure you're on there. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and grab is my Mechanic 183 solder paste. I'm going to put just a little bit on my finger here, enough to cover that IC. We're going to go ahead and apply some on this sucker here. A little bit more than that. Alright, so that should be good, and I like just to take a clean finger and kind of try to clean it up as best I can. And then what I do just for the NAND here is, there's a little started up there. Let me address that. That's better. That's better. Alright, so what I do just for the NAND is I'll go ahead and remove my stencil. You should see something like that. Looks like that. It could be better. It really could be. You could solder ball. No. Alright, you could not have those bridge things, but I think that's going to be alright. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some heat on that IC. I don't think those will bridge up. If they do, we'll just go ahead and remove it and start again. But we should be alright with that. So I'm going to hold on to my IC with better tweezers. I'm going to go ahead and apply some hot air. I'm going to start at the bottom and try to have them all go in order, just like that. Beautiful. Alright, let's let her go and cool off for a second. See if we can see if those look pretty good. Cool. Alright, so we're going to remove the solder balls on the side once it cools down. Then we're going to apply that sucker back on the phone. Alright? Alright guys, so next we're going to go ahead, like I said, remove these solder balls off the side here from my stencil. Go ahead and come out. That side looks good. One more right there. I don't see more solder balls. Perfect. And those pads look pretty good. Okay. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to put it back on the board. Alright guys, before I go ahead and put that NAND on the board, actually I did want to go over something. What happens if you forget the orientation or forgot to look at the orientation before you move the chip off the board, which I have done. So now let's just hit up ZXW real quick and see what ZXW has to say about it. Alright, now we have ZXW open. What you're going to look for is a little icon next to the chip. See this little L shape, that 90-degree angle? That is going to be the orientation of your chip. And if you look at the chip itself, you will also have, wrong one. You will have, where did I put that NAND? Here it is. A little dot right here. You see it right there? Maybe make it a little bit more clear for you guys. There, right there. That sucker on the corner, that's going to be your orientation marker, okay? So just match up ZXW with the 90-degree angle and the dot, and you will be okay. So now let's go ahead and put this back on the board. Alright, so make sure we don't have anything sticking up. I don't see anything. Looking good. Get all that snuff out of there. Get out of here, snuff. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and put some Amtech 559 on the board. Alright, what I like to do for the NAND is go ahead and put the flux there, but then take my little spudger and kind of wiggle all that flux around. Alright, and cover all of the surface area there. So let's do that. A little bit more. Yeah, there's no. Alright. So that's pretty good. Kind of make sure that entire area is covered. Now we're going to go ahead and place the NAND on the board. Make sure we're placing it the right way. Oh, I need to go higher than that. Where's my tweezers? Why are we trying to do it without tweezers? Mistake number one. There we go. That's pretty good. Double check. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and now we're going to put our quarters back on the board. Just because I'm paranoid and I don't like to overheat things. I'm going to come in with low air at first, and then once we see that chip lock on, we'll go ahead and come in with high airflow. And again, all around the board, very high up at first, just to kind of bring the board up to temperature with me, right? Wait for that flux to get all gooey underneath, which we know it loves to do as soon as it gets hit with just a little bit of heat. Alright, good. Now, see some of that flux starting to bubble, which is really good. Now I'm going to come in with my high airflow like I normally do. I'm going to hit that sucker with it. Remember, I'm moving it all. Oop, that is not what we want at all. I thought that chip was down, it was not. Alright, so we're going to try this again. Keep the iron or the hot air away from so close to the chip so it doesn't blow away. Alright. Gonna try that one more time. Don't fly away this time, chip. Bring it closer and closer as you see I'm doing. Remember, all around the NAND I'm heating up. You see that? Alright, once I think, so now it's down, so we're gonna go ahead and, come on, heat up all over the place. Alright, so you see now it's down. I'm going to go ahead and notch it on either side. And we're good. That NAND is on there. We're going to let that cool off. Alright. Alright guys, so I just put the board loosely back in the housing. And when I say loosely, I just mean I have the board in there with dock connector, battery, and lock button and screen connected. Nothing is screwed down or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to prompt to boot. And again, I'm not expecting anything. It wasn't a hard drop, so I don't think a reball will work. So remember what was happening before was Apple logo, and then it would go right to black screen. Come on, prompt, nothing. I should at least get what I was getting before. Well, it would help if I connected the battery. Alright, so let's try that one more time. Prompt, Apple logo. Oh, recovery! Wow. Now the client did say that she tried to update the phone at home, and I tried to update it here, so that might be why it's jumping to recovery. But remember, before it was Apple logo and then DFU. We weren't even getting to recovery. So let's go ahead. Now I'm excited. Let's go ahead and connect this to the computer and see if it updates. I was expecting to release a no-fix today to show that how I got my thought process, but hey, if we get data, that's a bonus. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do that. You guys don't need to see me try the update, but Alright guys, so it did fail at the 20% mark like it did before, but I got progress. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to reflow that NAND one more time and see if it goes through this time, hopefully. Alright, so here we go. Let's get started on that. Alright guys, so I got my quarters in place, so let's go ahead and grab my tweezers and we're just going to put hair on the board. We're going to reflow this NAND essentially, which now we can't because we removed all that underfill and everything. So what we're going to do is bring it up to temperature. We're going to nudge each side of the NAND twice, and then we're going to try it one more time. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to say that I'm not going to be able to get data from this board, and then of course recommend the clients get a second opinion and see what they think. That side's good. That side's good as well. One more nudge for good luck. There we go. Alright, let's let that board cool again and see. Hopefully it will update this time, but I'm not thinking it will. Alright guys, so just a quick review of what we did today. We had an iPhone 7 come in with bad NAND, which is really unfortunate for the client because she's not going to get her data. In a situation like that, of course, what I'm going to do is recommend her to get a second opinion, just like with a doctor. If some serious illness you have, go get a second opinion. So that's what I'm going to recommend, along with a bunch of names that can give her that second opinion. That would be a good second opinion, and then go from there. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to pull her data. The reason I'm posting this video though, even though I kind of knew it was going to be in this situation, was just to show you my thought process and how I got there, and how I diagnosed this to be a bad NAND. Now, if you guys have a solution for this or anything like that, please let me know, because I would love to start saving some memories. But as of now, there's nothing I can do to save this lady's data, unfortunately.